Ladies and gentlemen, within you lies the power to create worlds, to bring forth desires that seem unreachable. Yet the secret to this power is simplicity itself, repetition. When you repeat a thought, a word, or an affirmation with conviction, you awaken a force that transcends logic and defies circumstances. Begin by choosing a statement that embodies the life you wish to live. Let it be simple, yet potent. I am abundant, I am loved, or I am healthy, whatever it is. Let it affirm the fulfillment of your heart's deepest desire. Now, speak it aloud, not once, but again and again. Speak it as though it were already true, as though the reality of it were undeniable. Do not concern yourself with how or when it will come to pass. Focus only on the certainty of its existence. Feel the words as you speak them. Let the vibration of your affirmation stir within you the emotion of joy, gratitude, and completion. Imagine the world reshaping itself around your declaration. Repetition is the hammer that drives the nail into the foundation of your subconscious mind. As you repeat your affirmation, you are planting a seed in the fertile soil of your being. And just as a seed does not doubt the sun, the rain, or its ability to grow, neither should you doubt the fulfillment of your desire. Say it 100 times today and tomorrow and the next. Watch as the impossible bends to your will, as the unseen becomes visible, and as the formless takes shape. The world is but a reflection of the words you speak and the beliefs you hold. Speak with faith, persist without wavering, and remember this truth: the only limits are the ones you accept. Repeat this, beloved, and watch your reality transform. For what you affirm with persistence, you shall possess without fail. The power of imagination is the cornerstone of creation, the hidden force behind every manifestation in life. Everything you see around you, the buildings, the music, the technology, once existed only as a thought, an idea nurtured within someone's mind. Imagination is not just a tool of the mind, it is the womb of creation. It gives form to the unseen and breathes life into the intangible. When you realize the limitless potential of your imagination, you will see that nothing is beyond your reach. To imagine is to give shape to your desires, to see the unseen as though it were visible. It is the act of painting your reality on the canvas of your mind before it manifests in the world around you. The beauty of this process lies in its simplicity. You do not need external tools or resources, your mind is enough. It is here, in the quiet moments of thought, that you become the architect of your destiny. But imagination without faith is like a seed planted in barren soil. Faith is the life-giving force that allows your imagined reality to take root and grow. Faith is not mere wishful thinking, it is a deep, unshakable knowing that what you have imagined is already yours. When you hold a vision in your mind with conviction, the universe aligns itself to bring it to fruition. The invisible forces of creation respond to the clarity and intensity of your belief. Consider this: your subconscious mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts every thought and feeling you impress upon it as truth. When you vividly imagine something with faith, your subconscious begins to work tirelessly to make it a reality. It influences your actions, alters your perceptions, and draws circumstances into your life that align with your vision. Imagination allows you to rise above the limitations of your current circumstances. It is the bridge between where you are and where you wish to be. Through imagination, you can step into a reality that is freer, more abundant, and more fulfilling. In your mind, you are not confined by the constraints of time, space, or logic. You can travel anywhere, become anyone, and experience anything. This is the first step in creation, to dwell in the feeling of your desired reality as though it were already real. Many people underestimate the power of their imagination, dismissing it as mere daydreaming. But daydreaming with purpose and faith is the first spark of manifestation. What you repeatedly imagine with conviction begins to solidify. It shifts from the realm of thought to the realm of form. The more vivid and detailed your imagination, the more power it holds. See yourself living your dream, hear the sounds, feel the textures, and let the emotions of fulfillment wash over you. The challenge, however, lies in consistency. Imagination must be cultivated like a garden. Doubt, fear, and negative thoughts are weeds that threaten to choke the seeds you have planted. You must guard your imagination fiercely, nurturing it with positive affirmations and unwavering belief. Even when reality contradicts your vision, hold fast to your imagined truth. Persist in the face of opposition, for reality is malleable, and it will eventually conform to the images you hold in your mind. Do not allow the judgments of others or the appearance of obstacles to deter you. The power of imagination is a deeply personal and sacred process. No one else can see the visions you hold in your mind, but they will one day see the results of your faith and persistence. Trust in your ability to create, even when the path ahead is unclear. Imagination, when combined with faith, is the ultimate creative force. It does not matter how improbable or impossible your desire may seem. If you can imagine it and believe in it with all your heart, it is already on its way to you. The world is but a reflection of the images you hold within your mind. Change the inner picture, and the outer world must follow. The path to manifesting your desires is often filled with moments of uncertainty and doubt. These moments can cloud your vision, making it difficult to believe in the possibility of what you seek. Yet the key to overcoming doubt and aligning your life with your dreams lies in persistence. Specifically, the persistent repetition of affirmations has the power to reprogram your subconscious mind, guiding you steadily toward the reality you desire. Affirmations are not mere words, they are seeds planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. When repeated with faith and conviction, they imprint themselves upon your inner being, shaping your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. This process may not yield immediate results, but with persistence, the seemingly impossible becomes inevitable. Doubt is a natural response to unfamiliar territory. It arises when your current reality conflicts with the vision you hold in your mind. However, doubt is not a force to be feared or fought against. Instead, it is a signal to persist. Each time you repeat your affirmations, you override the voice of doubt, replacing it with the voice of certainty. Repetition is the antidote to uncertainty, for it creates a new mental pattern that becomes stronger with each iteration. Consider the subconscious mind as a malleable surface, one that is deeply impressed by repetition. Every thought you dwell upon leaves an imprint, shaping the beliefs that govern your life. When you consistently affirm your desires, you create a groove in your subconscious that directs your energy and focus. Over time, this groove deepens, becoming the foundation upon which your reality is built. For example, imagine affirming, "I am confident and capable." At first, these words may feel foreign or untrue, especially if your current experience is one of self-doubt. But as you repeat this affirmation daily with intention and belief, it begins to take root. Your subconscious mind starts to accept it as a fact, and your behavior aligns with this newfound confidence. You find yourself taking actions that reflect your affirmation, and opportunities that match this belief begin to appear in your life. The power of repetition lies not only in the words you speak, but also in the feelings you attach to them. Saying affirmations without emotion is like planting seeds in dry soil. They lack the nourishment needed to grow. When you repeat your affirmations, infuse them with the emotions of joy, gratitude, and fulfillment. Feel as though your desire has already been realized. This emotional charge accelerates the alignment of your subconscious mind with your desired reality. Persistence is especially crucial when external circumstances seem to contradict your affirmations. It is in these moments of apparent failure that many give up, allowing doubt to regain its hold. However, this is precisely when persistence is most needed. Remember, reality often lags behind the shifts occurring within your mind. The changes you seek may not yet be visible, but that does not mean they are not unfolding. Trust in the process and continue to affirm your desired outcome. Repetition also serves as a powerful reminder of your intentions. In the busyness of life, it is easy to lose focus and revert to old patterns of thinking. Daily affirmations keep your desires at the forefront of your mind, ensuring that your thoughts, words, and actions remain aligned with your goals. They act as a compass, guiding you toward the life you envision. One of the greatest challenges in this practice is overcoming resistance. You may find yourself thinking, this isn't working, or I feel silly saying these words. Such thoughts are normal, but they are also temporary. They represent the old beliefs trying to maintain their grip on your mind. By persisting in your affirmations, you gradually dissolve this resistance, replacing it with new, empowering beliefs. It is also important to recognize that repetition is not about blind recitation. The words you affirm must resonate with you on a deep level. Choose affirmations that align with your desires and speak them as though they are already true. Instead of saying, I will be successful, say, I am successful. This subtle shift in language reinforces the belief that your desire is already a reality. As you persist in this practice, you will notice subtle changes within yourself. You may feel more confident, more optimistic, and more aligned with your goals. These internal shifts are the precursors to external transformation. The more you repeat your affirmations, the more you condition your mind to expect and accept your desired reality. The repetition of affirmations becomes second nature, a habit that shapes your thoughts and actions effortlessly. At this point, doubt loses its power, for your subconscious mind has fully embraced the truth of your affirmations. Your desires begin to manifest, not as distant possibilities, but as tangible realities. Persist beyond doubt, for it is persistence that bridges the gap between where you are and where you wish to be. Trust in the process of repetition, and know that with each affirmation you are drawing closer to the life you envision. Doubt may knock at the door, but let your persistence answer it. Through repetition, you are shaping your destiny one word at a time. The power of your words cannot be overstated. They are not merely sounds or symbols, they are creative forces that shape your reality. Every word you speak carries energy, influencing your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. When you affirm something in the present tense, you align yourself with the reality you wish to experience. Speaking as if it is already done is not just a linguistic exercise, it is a transformative act that draws your desires into existence. The words spoken in the present tense are declarations of truth. When you say, I am successful or I am loved, you are not merely describing your current situation, you are planting a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. The subconscious does not question or analyze, it accepts what it is told repeatedly as truth. By affirming in the present tense, you bypass doubt and skepticism, programming your subconscious to act as if your desire is already realized. The essence of speaking as if it is already done lies in the understanding that your inner world creates your outer world. What you consistently affirm becomes the lens through which you view life, and it shapes the circumstances you attract. When you speak in the present tense, you embody the feeling of already having what you desire. This feeling is the key to manifestation. It creates a vibrational match between your inner state and the external reality you seek to create. Many people fall into the trap of speaking about their desires in the future tense. They say, I will be successful or I will find love, unknowingly reinforcing the idea that their desires are not yet here. While such statements may seem positive, they carry a subtle implication of lack and delay. The universe responds to the energy behind your words. When you speak in the future tense, you are essentially affirming that what you want is not yet yours, and the universe mirrors that back to you. Imagine instead speaking with unwavering confidence in the present tense. Say, I am successful, I am abundant, I am deeply loved. These statements create a powerful shift in your consciousness. You begin to think, feel, and act as if your desire is already a reality. This alignment of thought, emotion, and action sends a clear signal to the universe, and it must respond by aligning external circumstances with your inner truth. The practice of speaking as if it is already done requires a shift in mindset. It may feel unnatural at first, especially if your current reality appears to contradict your affirmations. But remember, your words are not a reflection of your current circumstances, they are declarations of the reality you are creating. Trust in the process and persist even when evidence of change is not immediately visible. Reality often takes time to catch up with the shifts occurring within your mind. Speaking in the present tense is not about denial or wishful thinking. It is about stepping into the version of yourself who already possesses what you desire. This requires not only saying the words but also embodying the emotions and behaviors that align with your affirmation. If you affirm, I am confident, begin to act as a confident person would. Stand tall, speak with clarity, and make decisions with certainty. Your actions reinforce your words, creating a feedback loop that accelerates the manifestation process. The power of present tense affirmations lies in their ability to rewire your subconscious mind. Over time, they replace old, limiting beliefs with empowering ones. If you have spent years believing, I am not good enough or I don't deserve success, these thoughts have likely shaped your reality. But by consistently affirming, I am worthy or I am successful, you overwrite these negative patterns. Your subconscious begins to accept the new narrative, and your outer world adjusts to reflect it. It is important to approach this practice with conviction and sincerity. Words spoken half-heartedly lack the energy needed to create change. When you affirm, speak with confidence and feeling. Visualize your desired reality as you say the words, and let the emotions of fulfillment wash over you. The combination of spoken affirmations and heartfelt emotion is a powerful catalyst for transformation. Another key to this practice is consistency. Speaking as if it is already done is not a one-time act, it is a daily discipline. Make your affirmations a part of your routine, whether through morning rituals, journaling, or moments of quiet reflection. The more you affirm, the more deeply your new beliefs take root, and the more your external reality shifts to match them. Your words are a declaration of who you are and what you stand for. By speaking as if your desires are already realized, you step into the role of a creator, not a passive observer. You claim your power to shape your life, one word at a time. Trust in the process, and know that the universe is always listening, ready to respond to the truth you declare. Speak boldly, confidently, and persistently, and watch as your spoken word becomes the foundation of the life you desire. Manifestation is not just about words or thoughts, it is deeply rooted in emotion. Your feelings are the vibrational language through which you communicate with the universe. To truly align with your desires and bring them into your reality, you must feel as though you already have them. Emotion is the fuel that powers the creative process, giving your affirmations the energy needed to transform your inner vision into an external experience. When you repeat affirmations, you are planting seeds in the garden of your subconscious mind. However, these seeds require nourishment to grow, and that nourishment comes from emotion. Merely reciting words without feeling their truth is like planting seeds in barren soil. They lack the vitality to take root and flourish. The moment you infuse your affirmations with emotion, they become alive, carrying the vibrational essence of your desire. Imagine the joy, gratitude, and fulfillment you would feel if your desire were already realized. Close your eyes and envision that reality in vivid detail. Picture yourself living in your dream home, experiencing your ideal relationship, or thriving in the career you've always wanted. As you create this mental image, allow yourself to feel the emotions that accompany it. Let the happiness, excitement, and sense of accomplishment flow through you. These feelings are not mere daydreams, they are the energetic blueprint of your desired reality. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. When you feel the emotions of already having what you desire, your subconscious accepts it as truth. It begins to align your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with this new reality, setting the wheels of manifestation into motion. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner state, and by embodying the emotions of your desired reality, you attract experiences that match those feelings. Emotion amplifies the power of repetition. When you repeat an affirmation like "I am abundant" but feel indifferent or doubtful, the words lack the vibrational charge needed to create change. However, when you speak the same affirmation with a deep sense of gratitude and excitement, your entire being resonates with the energy of abundance. This resonance acts as a magnetic force, drawing opportunities, resources, and experiences that align with your affirmation. Gratitude is one of the most potent emotions for manifestation. When you feel grateful for something, you affirm its presence in your life, even if it has not yet materialized. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, creating a powerful sense of alignment with your desires. As you repeat your affirmations, cultivate a sense of gratitude as if your desires have already been fulfilled. Say "Thank you for this abundance" or "I am so grateful for this love," and feel the truth of those words in your heart. Doubt and fear are common obstacles in the manifestation process. These emotions arise when your current reality seems far removed from your desires. However, the key to overcoming them is to persist in feeling the emotions of fulfillment, even in the face of apparent lack. Remember, your emotions are not a reaction to external circumstances, they are a choice. By consciously choosing to feel joy, gratitude, and confidence, you override the lower vibrations of doubt and fear, maintaining alignment with your desired reality. Visualization is a powerful tool to enhance the emotional aspect of your affirmations. As you repeat your affirmations, close your eyes and imagine yourself already living the life you desire. See the details, hear the sounds, and most importantly, feel the emotions associated with that vision. The more vividly you can imagine it, the stronger the emotional connection becomes. This practice trains your subconscious mind to accept your vision as reality, accelerating the manifestation process. Another way to amplify emotion is through physical expression. Smile, laugh, or even dance as you repeat your affirmations. Physical movement releases energy and reinforces the positive emotions you are cultivating. When your body reflects the feelings of joy and fulfillment, it sends a powerful signal to your subconscious mind, further solidifying your alignment with your desires. Consistency is essential. Emotions can waver, especially when faced with challenges or setbacks. That's why it's important to make this practice a daily ritual. Begin and end each day by repeating your affirmations with feeling. Let the emotions of fulfillment be the first and last thing you experience each day. Over time, this consistent practice will rewire your subconscious mind, replacing old patterns of doubt and limitation with a new, empowered belief system. The power of emotion in manifestation lies in its ability to bridge the gap between your current reality and your desired state. When you feel as though your desire is already yours, you collapse the distance between imagination and reality. The universe responds not to your words alone, but to the emotional energy behind them. Feel deeply, persistently, and authentically, and you will witness the unfolding of your desires in ways that seem almost miraculous. Emotion is the heartbeat of creation. It is the energy that transforms intention into reality, thought into form, and dreams into existence. As you repeat your affirmations, let emotion guide you. Feel the joy, the love, the abundance, and the gratitude as though your desires have already manifested. With each repetition, you are not only speaking your truth, but living it, breathing it, and becoming it. And in this alignment, you unlock the limitless potential within you to create the life you desire. When you focus on the end result, you tap into a profound creative principle that reshapes your reality. Manifestation begins and ends with the mind, and what you consistently hold in your imagination becomes the blueprint for your life. To manifest your desires effectively, you must concentrate entirely on the fulfillment of your wish, ignoring the how and trusting in the natural process that will bring it to pass. The key is to dwell in the feeling of the desired outcome as if it has already been achieved. The tendency for many is to obsess over the steps needed to reach a goal. This fixation on the how can lead to doubt, frustration, and unnecessary effort. The truth is, the process is not your responsibility. Your responsibility lies in holding the vision of the completed result. When you fixate on the process, you may inadvertently create resistance by doubting whether things are progressing as they should. This resistance delays the manifestation of your desire. By focusing solely on the end result, you allow the universe to orchestrate the perfect unfolding in ways you might never have anticipated. Visualization is your most powerful tool in this practice. Close your eyes and imagine your desire as if it is already fulfilled. See yourself living in the reality you wish to create. Feel the emotions associated with that outcome: joy, gratitude, peace, or excitement. Let these feelings wash over you, making your imagined reality feel as vivid and real as your current experience. This emotional connection is crucial because it creates a vibrational match between you and your desired outcome. When you focus on the end result, you train your mind to live in the state of fulfillment. This state becomes a magnet for experiences, people, and opportunities that align with your vision. You may not know how these elements will come together, but that is the beauty of this process. By releasing the need to control the how, you create space for divine timing and infinite possibilities to work on your behalf. Trust that the universe has a far greater perspective than you do, and can weave together circumstances in ways beyond your comprehension. It's important to maintain mental discipline during this practice. The mind often wants to wander into doubts or second-guessing the process. Thoughts like, what if it doesn't work, or how will this ever happen? It can creep in, disrupting the energy of belief and certainty. When these thoughts arise, gently redirect your focus back to the end result. Remind yourself that your role is to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, not to analyze or solve the mechanics of its manifestation. Another powerful aspect of focusing on the end result is the elimination of contradictory thoughts. When you dwell on the fulfillment of your desire, you reinforce a single, clear intention. Contradictory thoughts, such as doubts, fears, or feelings of lack, cannot coexist with the conviction that your desire is already yours. By continually returning to the state of fulfillment, you dissolve these conflicting energies and align fully with your goal. Patience is essential in this practice. There may be a time lag between your mental alignment with your desire and its physical manifestation. This delay is not a sign that nothing is happening, rather, it is the universe rearranging itself to bring your vision into reality. During this time, maintain your focus and faith. Resist the urge to look for evidence of progress in the outer world, as this can create unnecessary anxiety. Instead, trust that the fulfillment of your desire is inevitable because you have already claimed it in your mind. An often overlooked aspect of focusing on the end result is the transformative impact it has on your identity. When you consistently dwell on the outcome, you begin to embody the version of yourself who already has what you desire. For example, if your goal is financial abundance, focusing on the end result might mean seeing yourself as someone who is prosperous and confident. Over time, this identity shift changes your thoughts, actions, and energy, making you a match for the reality you seek. This practice also helps you release the grip of limitations. When you focus solely on the end result, you are no longer confined by the perceived obstacles in your current reality. You rise above limitations by choosing to see only the completed vision. This mental elevation opens doors to solutions and opportunities that might have seemed impossible before. By aligning with the outcome, you transcend the barriers that once held you back. The simplicity of this practice is its greatest strength. Focusing on the end result requires no special skills or external resources, only your imagination and commitment. It is an act of faith, a declaration that you trust in the power of your mind to create your reality. Each time you return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you strengthen the bridge between your inner vision and your outer experience. Focusing on the end result is an act of surrender and empowerment. It frees you from the burden of figuring out the how and allows you to dwell in the joy and certainty of already having what you desire. As you make this practice a daily ritual, you will witness the miraculous unfolding of your dreams, brought to life by the power of your unwavering focus and belief. Repetition is one of the most powerful tools for shaping your reality. It is the consistent reinforcement of a thought, affirmation, or vision that impresses the subconscious mind and brings it into alignment with your desires. The subconscious is like fertile soil, ready to receive the seeds you plant through repetition. With time and persistence, these seeds grow into the circumstances, experiences, and outcomes you seek. The impossible becomes inevitable not through luck or chance, but through the deliberate practice of repeating your desired reality until it becomes second nature. The subconscious mind operates differently from the conscious mind. It does not question or rationalize, it simply accepts what it is repeatedly told. This is why repetition is so effective. By affirming a thought or idea over and over again, you bypass the critical filter of the conscious mind and impress that idea onto your subconscious. Once imprinted, the subconscious begins to work tirelessly to bring that idea into reality. It aligns your actions, emotions, and energy with the belief you have cultivated, creating a pathway for manifestation. Repetition is not just about mechanical recitation, it is about persistence and conviction. When you repeat an affirmation like "I am successful, I am loved," or "I am abundant," you are not simply stating words, you are declaring a truth. At first it may feel unnatural, especially if your current reality seems far from the truth you are affirming. But this is where the power of repetition shines. Over time, as you continue to repeat your affirmations with belief and emotion, They become embedded in your subconscious, replacing old, limiting beliefs with new, empowering ones. The beauty of repetition lies in its simplicity. You do not need to understand every detail of how your subconscious mind works to harness its power. All you need is commitment and consistency. Just as a drop of water can eventually wear away a stone through persistent dripping, so too can repeated affirmations reshape your inner world, regardless of how entrenched your old beliefs may seem. Repetition builds momentum, gradually transforming your thoughts and perceptions until they align with the reality you desire. One of the reasons repetition is so effective is that it creates familiarity. The subconscious mind gravitates toward what feels familiar, even if that familiarity is rooted in negativity or limitation. By repeating positive affirmations and visualizing your desired outcome, you replace the old patterns of doubt, fear, or lack with new patterns of confidence, faith, and abundance. The more you repeat these positive messages, the more familiar they become, and the more your subconscious accepts them as truth. Consistency is the key to success in this practice. Sporadic efforts will not yield the same results as daily, intentional repetition. Make it a habit to repeat your affirmations multiple times throughout the day, especially in the morning when your mind is fresh and at night when your subconscious is most receptive. Use these moments to plant the seeds of your desires, trusting that they will take root and grow. The more consistent you are, the faster you will see changes in your thoughts, feelings, and outer circumstances. It is important to approach repetition with focus and intention. Simply repeating words without feeling or attention is less effective. Engage your emotions as you repeat your affirmations and visualize the end result as vividly as possible. For example, if you are affirming abundance, imagine yourself enjoying the fruits of your prosperity, feeling the joy, gratitude, and ease that come with it. This emotional engagement amplifies the impact of your repetition, making it a powerful force for transformation. Repetition also builds resilience. In the face of doubt, setbacks, or challenging circumstances, the habit of repetition helps you stay anchored in your vision. It reminds you of the truth you are creating, even when your outer reality has yet to reflect it. This persistence is essential, because manifestation often requires faith and patience. By repeating your affirmations, you reinforce your belief in the unseen and keep your energy aligned with your desires. Over time, the effects of repetition become undeniable. You will notice a shift in your thoughts, behaviors, and even the way others respond to you. Your subconscious mind, now programmed with empowering beliefs, will guide you toward opportunities and actions that support your vision. The outer world, a mirror of your inner state, will begin to transform in ways that seem almost miraculous. What once seemed impossible will unfold naturally, as if it were always meant to be. Repetition is not just a mental exercise, it is a declaration of commitment to your dreams. Each repetition strengthens your connection to the reality you wish to create. It is a reminder that you have the power to shape your life not through force or struggle, but through the steady, intentional practice of aligning your thoughts with your desires. Repetition is a practice of faith and persistence. It teaches you that change begins within, and that by consistently impressing your subconscious with the vision of your desired reality, you set in motion the forces that make it inevitable. No matter how distant your goal may seem, repetition bridges the gap, transforming the impossible into the inevitable, one thought, one affirmation, and one moment at a time. In conclusion, the power to manifest your desires lies within your consistent focus, belief, and unwavering faith in the unseen. By harnessing tools such as imagination, repetition, affirming as if it's already done, feeling the emotions of fulfillment, and focusing solely on the end result, you align yourself with the infinite creative forces of the universe. Your thoughts, words, and feelings become the architects of your reality, turning what once seemed impossible into inevitable truth. Remember, you are the creator of your world. By impressing your subconscious mind with the reality you wish to experience, you activate the divine power within you to bring it to life. Trust the process, persist through doubt, and stay anchored in the conviction that your desires are already yours. With patience and persistence, the unseen will become seen, and your inner vision will unfold into your outer reality. Thank you for allowing these words to inspire and guide you on your journey of creation. May you walk forward with confidence, knowing that the life you desire is already within your grasp. Keep faith, keep imagining, and keep believing your reality is waiting for you to claim it. Ladies and gentlemen, as the dawn of a new year approaches, there is one question you must ask yourself: what is holding me back? Most people will point to external circumstances, lack of time, resources, or opportunity. But let me tell you this, the greatest obstacle in your life is not out there, it's within you. Fear is the invisible chain that keeps you tied to mediocrity. It whispers that you are not enough, that the world is too big, and that your dreams are too far-fetched. But let me remind you, fear is a liar. It exists only in your mind, and it grows stronger the more you believe in it. If you want 2025 to be your year, you must confront this truth: you are the creator of your reality. What you allow in your mind becomes the life you live. If you let fear occupy your thoughts, it will build walls around your potential. But if you dare to believe in your vision, those walls will crumble. Let us go deeper. How does fear manifest? It shows up as doubt. You doubt your abilities, your worth, and your power to change. But doubt is the enemy of creation. To manifest the life you desire, you must replace doubt with faith, faith in your vision, faith in the unseen, and most importantly, faith in yourself. Understand this: everything you need is already within you. You don't need permission from the world to succeed. The only permission you need is from yourself. Give yourself that gift today. Now let's talk about the power of your imagination. Whatever you vividly imagine and believe in becomes your reality. When you close your eyes and see yourself living your dream, feeling it with every fiber of your being, you set into motion the forces that bring it to life. So what will you imagine for 2025? Will you see yourself as someone who hesitates, or will you see yourself as someone who takes bold steps forward? The choice is yours. Do not let fear, doubt, or hesitation hold you back. The power is in your hands to create a year that reflects the greatness within you. The world is not waiting to give you a chance. It's waiting for you to claim what is already yours. The world you see is a reflection of the story you tell yourself. This truth is both simple and profound. If you perceive the world as hostile, full of obstacles, and lacking in opportunity, you will live in a reality that echoes those beliefs. But if you view life as abundant, full of possibility, and unfolding in your favor, that is the reality you will experience. This is not just a philosophical notion, it is the key to transforming your life. Your perception shapes your reality. Perception is more than just the way you interpret events, it is the lens through which you experience every aspect of your existence. The mind operates like a mirror, reflecting back the images, emotions, and beliefs you consistently hold within. Think of it this way: your thoughts are seeds, and your mind is fertile ground. Whatever seeds you plant, whether they are of abundance or lack, joy or despair, will grow and shape the landscape of your life. If you believe the world is against you, your mind will find evidence to support that belief, even in neutral circumstances. On the other hand, if you believe the universe is conspiring for your good, you will begin to see opportunities where others see roadblocks. The power of perception lies in its ability to dictate your responses. Two people can experience the same event, yet interpret it in entirely different ways. One sees failure and stops trying, the other sees a lesson and grows stronger. It is not the event that defines them, but the story they tell about it. This is why shifting your inner narrative is so crucial. The story you tell yourself about who you are, what you are capable of, and what the world is like will become the foundation of your reality. Changing your perception requires an intentional effort to rewrite the script running in your mind. For many, this script has been shaped by past experiences, societal expectations, and inherited beliefs. These narratives often operate subconsciously, influencing decisions, actions, and emotions without your awareness. For example, if you've been told that success is reserved for a select few, you might unconsciously limit yourself from pursuing your dreams. But once you recognize that this belief is not a universal truth, you gain the power to replace it with a new narrative, one that serves you rather than hinders you. To shift your perception, start by becoming aware of the stories you tell yourself. Pay attention to the thoughts that arise when you face challenges or consider new opportunities. Are they empowering, or do they reinforce fear and doubt? Awareness is the first step in breaking free from limiting beliefs. Once you've identified the stories that no longer serve you, begin to question them. Ask yourself, is this belief absolutely true? More often than not, you will find that these beliefs are based on assumptions rather than facts. As you challenge old narratives, replace them with new ones that align with the reality you want to create. If you've been telling yourself that you're not good enough, start affirming your worth and capabilities. If you've been focusing on scarcity, shift your attention to the abundance around you, no matter how small it may seem at first. This process is not about ignoring reality, but about choosing to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. Visualization is a powerful tool for reshaping your perception. When you close your eyes and imagine the life you desire, you activate the creative power of your mind. The more vividly you can see and feel this new reality, the more your mind begins to accept it as true. This is because your subconscious cannot distinguish between imagination and actual experience. By consistently visualizing your desired outcome, you train your mind to seek out opportunities and solutions that align with your vision. Another essential aspect of shifting your perception is gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, creating a sense of abundance and contentment. When you approach life with gratitude, you begin to see blessings in places you once overlooked. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges, but rather recognizing that even difficulties carry lessons and opportunities for growth. Gratitude transforms your perception of the present moment, making it a fertile ground for positive change. The outer world is malleable, shaped by the energy you bring to it. When you change your inner narrative, your actions naturally align with your new beliefs. You begin to carry yourself differently, speak with more confidence, and make decisions that reflect your elevated perception of yourself and the world. This shift in energy attracts circumstances, people, and opportunities that resonate with your new state of being. It is important to remember that perception is not a one-time shift but an ongoing practice. Life will continue to present challenges, and old patterns may resurface. But each moment offers a choice to fall back into limiting narratives or to consciously choose a perspective that empowers you. With practice, choosing the latter becomes second nature. Your perception is the compass that guides your journey. When you align it with the reality you want to create, life begins to unfold in ways that reflect your inner transformation. The world is not fixed, it is a mirror that responds to the way you see it. Shift your inner narrative, and your external world will follow suit. In doing so, you unlock the limitless potential that has always been within you. Fear thrives in the shadows of uncertainty. It whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if things don't go as planned? These questions are like chains, binding you to the familiar, even when the familiar no longer serves you. Yet when you examine fear closely, you see that it is hollow. It is not the event itself that causes fear, but your interpretation of it. The unknown is not inherently dangerous, but your mind fills the void with imagined threats. Fear is a projection, not a reality. To break free from this prison, you must first recognize fear for what it is, a creation of your own mind. It is not an external force imposing itself upon you, it is an internal reaction to something you believe to be true. This realization is powerful because it shifts the locus of control from the external world to within yourself. If fear is created in your mind, it can also be dismantled there. The next step is to confront your fear directly. Avoidance only gives fear more power. When you avoid the things you fear, you reinforce the belief that they are too big, too overwhelming, or too dangerous to face. But when you meet fear head-on, you begin to see it for what it truly is, an illusion. The act of facing your fear, even in small steps, chips away at its foundation. Each time you confront it, you grow stronger, and fear grows weaker. Imagine a situation that frightens you. Perhaps it is speaking in public, pursuing a dream, or making a significant life change. When you look at it through the lens of fear, it feels impossible. But now imagine approaching it with curiosity instead of fear. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And if it does, can I handle it more often than not? You will find that the worst case scenario is far less catastrophic than your fear would have you believe. And even if challenges arise, you possess the resilience to overcome them. Fear also has a peculiar way of masquerading as logic. It convinces you to stay small under the guise of being realistic. It tells you that risks are too high and that it's safer to stay where you are. But safety and growth cannot coexist. Growth requires stepping into the unknown, taking risks, and trusting that you are capable of navigating whatever comes your way. Fear would have you believe that staying in your comfort zone is the safer choice, but in reality it is the most dangerous. A life confined by fear is a life half-lived. Releasing fear does not mean eradicating it completely. Fear is a natural part of the human experience, and it will arise from time to time. The key is not to let it control you. Instead of resisting fear or pretending it doesn't exist, acknowledge it. Say, I see you, fear, but I will not let you make decisions for me. This simple act of acknowledgement takes away fear's power and allows you to move forward despite its presence. One of the most effective ways to release fear is to shift your focus. Fear thrives when you concentrate on what could go wrong. But when you redirect your attention to what could go right, fear loses its grip. Visualize yourself succeeding. Feel the joy, pride, and freedom that come with stepping into your potential. The more vividly you imagine this, the more real it becomes, and the less room there is for fear. Gratitude is another powerful antidote to fear. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, fear diminishes. Gratitude grounds you in the present moment, reminding you of your strength and the abundance already in your life. Fear, by contrast, is rooted in the future, a future that may never come to pass. By staying anchored in gratitude, you free yourself from the illusion of fear and step into the reality of your present power. Fear is the only prison because it confines you to a version of yourself that is smaller than who you truly are. It keeps you from exploring the vastness of your potential, from taking the risks that lead to growth, and from living a life that feels deeply fulfilling. But you hold the key to this prison. When you release fear, you step into the boundless possibilities that await you. The world opens up not because it has changed, but because you have. You see opportunities where you once saw obstacles, and you move forward with the confidence that comes from knowing you are not bound by limitations. You are limitless, but to experience this truth, you must let go of fear. Do not let it hold you back from the life you are meant to live. The moment you choose to release it, you discover that the freedom you sought was always within you. The present moment is the only point of true power, the only space where creation unfolds. While the mind often wanders to the past with its memories, or to the future with its hopes and fears, the reality is that everything begins and ends in the now. The choices you make in this moment, the thoughts you hold, and the feelings you allow yourself to embrace are the seeds of your future. The life you desire is not waiting for you somewhere out there, it is being created here, in this very moment. Many people live as though the future will rescue them. They think, when I have more money, I'll be happy, or once I meet the right person, my life will improve, but the future is never something you can experience directly. It is always just beyond reach, like the horizon that recedes as you move toward it. What you call the future is simply the present moment that has yet to arrive. The way you meet this moment determines how the next unfolds. The conditions of tomorrow are planted in the soil of today. Your thoughts are powerful creative forces. Every thought carries energy, and this energy is like a blueprint shaping what is to come. A thought of abundance creates the conditions for abundance to flow into your life, while a thought of lack invites scarcity. It may seem subtle, but over time the repetition of these thoughts builds momentum. The mind works like a garden. Whatever seeds you plant and nurture will grow. If you plant seeds of worry, fear, or doubt, you will see a harvest of challenges. But if you plant seeds of faith, joy, and gratitude, you will cultivate a life of fulfillment and peace. Equally important are your feelings. Thoughts and emotions are intimately connected, with one influencing the other in an ongoing cycle. When you feel love, joy, or gratitude in this moment, you align yourself with the energy of your desires. This emotional state is not just a reaction to your environment, it is a signal you send out to the universe. By choosing how you feel now, you become a magnet for experiences that match that energy. For example, if you want a future filled with love, begin by feeling love in this moment, love for yourself, for others, and for life itself. But the present moment is often overlooked. The mind, ever restless, pulls you into the past with its regrets or to the future with its anxieties. This endless tug-of-war keeps you from fully experiencing the power of now. The past cannot be changed, and the future has yet to come. To dwell on either is to waste the creative potential of the present. When you bring your awareness back to this moment, you reclaim your power. Practicing mindfulness is one of the most effective ways to anchor yourself in the now. Mindfulness is the art of being fully present, of noticing what is happening within and around you without judgment. It can be as simple as taking a deep breath and feeling the air fill your lungs, or noticing the sensations in your body as you sit or stand. These small acts of awareness pull you out of the mind's chatter and into the reality of the present. In this space, you can choose your thoughts and emotions consciously rather than letting old patterns dictate them. Gratitude is another key to unlocking the power of the present moment. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, you shift your energy. Gratitude grounds you in the now and aligns you with abundance. It is a reminder that you are already supported, already whole, and already capable of creating the future you desire. Begin by finding just one thing to be grateful for in this moment: of breath, a heartbeat, or the light of the sun, and let that feeling expand. Visualization also brings the future into the present. When you vividly imagine the life you want, you are not merely daydreaming, you are rehearsing that reality in the present moment. Your mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is real. So by immersing yourself in the vision of your desired future, you begin to embody it now. This embodiment, this alignment of thought, emotion, and action sets the wheels of creation in motion. It is essential to remember that the present moment is not about perfection. Challenges will arise and doubts may surface. The goal is not to suppress these experiences, but to meet them with awareness. Even in moments of difficulty, you have the power to choose your response. A single moment of conscious decision can shift the trajectory of your life. Your future is not something distant and separate, it is an extension of this moment. When you realize this, you understand that you are not a victim of circumstance, but a creator of reality. How you think and feel right now is setting the stage for what comes next. Choose to see this moment as full of potential. Choose thoughts that uplift and inspire. Choose feelings that resonate with the life you wish to create. The present moment is a gift. It holds within it the power to transform your life, not through waiting, hoping, or wishing, but through deliberate and conscious creation. By aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality you desire, you step into the flow of life. You are no longer chasing the future, you are creating it. All of this begins in the now. Doubt is a thief that sneaks into the mind and quietly dismantles dreams before they even have a chance to take root. It whispers that you are not capable, not worthy, or not ready, creating barriers where none truly exist. While failure is often seen as the great obstacle to success, it is not failure that stops most dreams from being realized, it is doubt. Failure, when it comes, carries with it lessons and opportunities for growth. Doubt, on the other hand, is a silent saboteur, killing dreams before they even take their first breath. It creates a paralysis of action, a fear of trying, and a constant second-guessing that drains your energy and focus. Doubt often disguises itself as rationality. It tells you that you're simply being cautious or realistic, but its true purpose is to keep you small, to prevent you from stepping into the unknown. This is because doubt thrives on uncertainty, feeding on your fears of what might go wrong. But the truth is, nothing great has ever been achieved without a willingness to face uncertainty. Every breakthrough, every invention, every act of courage began with someone who chose to believe in possibility rather than be consumed by doubt. To understand the power of doubt, you must also understand its opposite, faith. Faith is not blind optimism or wishful thinking. It is a deep inner knowing, a trust in the unseen, and a belief in your ability to create and achieve. Faith does not require proof, it is the proof itself. When you replace doubt with faith, you open yourself to a world of possibilities. You stop fixating on what could go wrong and start focusing on what could go right. This shift in perspective is transformative because your energy flows where your attention goes. By choosing faith, you align yourself with your desires rather than your fears. The key to overcoming doubt is not to suppress it or pretend it doesn't exist. Instead, it is to confront it with awareness and understanding. Doubt arises when you allow your mind to dwell on uncertainty and negativity. It grows when you replay past failures or imagine worst-case scenarios. But when you bring your attention back to the present moment and to the vision of what you want to achieve, doubt loses its power. You cannot eliminate doubt entirely, but you can choose not to let it dictate your actions. One way to counter doubt is to take action, even if it's small and imperfect. Doubt often convinces you that you need to have everything figured out before you begin. It tells you that you need more knowledge, more resources, or more time. But the truth is, clarity comes through action, not before it. Every step you take, no matter how small, builds momentum and chips away at doubt. With each step, you gain confidence, not because doubt disappears, but because you prove to yourself that you are capable of moving forward despite it. Another way to replace doubt with faith is to visualize the outcome you desire. When you vividly imagine yourself succeeding, your mind begins to accept it as a possibility. This is not just a mental exercise, it is a powerful tool for shifting your energy. Visualization helps you align with the feeling of already having achieved your goal, which in turn attracts the people, opportunities, and circumstances needed to bring it to life. When doubt arises, return to this vision. Let it serve as your anchor, reminding you of what is possible. Gratitude is another antidote to doubt. When you focus on what you already have and what is already working in your life, you shift your perspective from lack to abundance. Doubt thrives on a sense of inadequacy, but gratitude reminds you of your strengths, your achievements, and the support around you. It grounds you in the present moment, where you are most powerful, and reinforces the belief that you are capable of creating even more to be grateful for. It is also important to recognize that doubt often mirrors your deeper fears, fears of failure, rejection, or unworthiness. By addressing these fears directly, you can begin to dismantle the foundation on which doubt stands. Ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen if I try and fail? Can I handle it more often than not? The answers reveal that the risks are far smaller than doubt would have you believe. And even when challenges arise, they are not the end, they are part of the journey. Faith requires courage. It asks you to trust in yourself, in your vision, and in the unseen forces that support you. It does not guarantee that every step will be easy, but it assures you that every step is worth taking. Doubt may persist, but it does not have to define you. You have the power to choose faith over fear, belief over uncertainty, and action over hesitation. Remember, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever could because doubt stops you from even trying. Failure, on the other hand, is a stepping stone, a teacher, and often a necessary part of the path to success. When you release doubt and embrace faith, you step into your full power. You begin to see challenges as opportunities and setbacks as redirections. You realize that the only thing standing between you and your dreams is your willingness to believe in them and in yourself. The moment you choose faith, the silent saboteur of doubt begins to fade, and your dreams become not just possible, but inevitable. You are the operant power in your own life, the sole architect of your experiences. Everything you see, everything you encounter, is a reflection of the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions you hold. The power to change your circumstances, to reshape your reality, does not lie outside of you, it resides within. This truth is both liberating and humbling, for it places the full responsibility for your life in your own hands. It means that you are not at the mercy of external forces, luck, or other people's actions. Instead, you are the cause of everything that unfolds, and as the cause, you hold the power to create change. Many people go through life believing they are victims of circumstance. They look to the world around them and see limitations, obstacles, and challenges as fixed realities that dictate what is possible for them. They say, if only I had more time, more money, or more support, then I could achieve my goals. They wait for the conditions to change before taking action, never realizing that the power to alter those conditions lies within them. The truth is that the external world is not fixed, it is malleable, shaped by the energy and beliefs you bring to it. Your thoughts are the building blocks of your reality. Every thought you entertain, whether fleeting or sustained, carries with it a vibrational energy that influences your experiences. Positive, empowering thoughts create conditions of growth and success, while negative, self-defeating thoughts perpetuate struggle and limitation. But it is not enough to think positively on the surface while harboring doubts and fears underneath. The true power lies in your ability to align your entire being, your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with the reality you wish to create. This alignment activates the creative power within you and sets in motion the forces necessary to manifest your desires. The key to wielding this power is awareness. You must become conscious of the patterns of thought and belief that shape your life. This requires introspection and honesty, as it often means confronting the limiting beliefs you have accepted as truth. These beliefs may have been instilled in you by society, family, or past experiences, but they are not absolute. You have the power to question them, to release them, and to replace them with beliefs that serve your highest good. When you take full ownership of your inner world, you reclaim your role as the operant power. It is important to understand that circumstances do not define you. They are merely the outward expressions of your inner state. If you see lack, failure, or limitation in your life, it is not because the world is against you. It is because on some level, you have accepted those conditions as part of your reality. This is not to place blame, but to empower you to recognize that change begins with you. The moment you decide to shift your perspective, the moment you choose to see yourself as abundant, capable, and deserving, the outer world begins to reflect that shift. Action is an essential part of this process. But it is not action alone that creates change. It is inspired action that flows from a place of belief and alignment that carries the greatest power. When you act from a place of fear, doubt, or desperation, your efforts are often met with resistance because they are not aligned with the energy of your desires. But when you act from a place of confidence, trust, and knowing, the path forward unfolds with ease. This is the difference between forcing and allowing, between striving and creating. Faith is your anchor as you step into the role of the operant power. Faith is the quiet certainty that your desires are already fulfilled, even when the evidence around you suggests otherwise. It is the unwavering belief in your ability to create, no matter the circumstances. Faith sustains you in moments of doubt and keeps you aligned with the vision of your desired reality. It is not blind, it is rooted in the understanding that the power to shape your life lies within you. The external world may present challenges, but these challenges are not there to defeat you. They are opportunities for growth, reflections of the areas where your beliefs and actions need to come into greater alignment. When you encounter resistance, do not see it as a sign of failure. Instead, see it as a chance to refine your focus and strengthen your faith. The power within you is limitless, but it requires your conscious direction to fully activate. To embrace your role as the operant power is to take full responsibility for your life. It means releasing the need to blame external factors for your struggles and recognizing that you have the ability to create something different. It means stepping out of the role of victim and into the role of creator. It means trusting in your power even when the path ahead seems uncertain. The force to change your circumstances lies within you, and nothing external can limit it unless you allow it to. Own this truth, and you will discover that you are not just a participant in life, you are its author. The world is not happening to you, it is responding to you. When you fully embrace this understanding, you step into a realm of limitless possibilities, where your desires are not dreams deferred but realities waiting to be claimed. You are the operant power. Own it and watch your world transform. Stop waiting for permission, for no one outside of you holds the key to your success. The authority you seek is already within you, yet so many spend their lives waiting for validation, approval, or some external sign that it's the right time to act. This waiting creates stagnation, a life lived on pause, as if the fullness of your potential hinges on someone else's acknowledgement. But the truth is, the power to move forward, to create, and to achieve lies entirely within your hands. You are the only one who can unlock the door to your dreams. Why do so many of us feel the need for permission? It is often rooted in fear of rejection, failure, or judgment. We seek the approval of others to shield us from these fears, believing that their endorsement will guarantee success, or at the very least, soften the blow of possible failure. But the reality is that no amount of external approval can eliminate risk, nor can it ensure the outcome you desire. All it does is delay the inevitable truth. The only permission that matters is the one you grant yourself. Waiting for permission often comes disguised as patience or preparation. You tell yourself that you're waiting for the right moment, the perfect opportunity, or the ideal conditions. But deep down, this waiting is often just an excuse to avoid stepping into the unknown. The right moment rarely arrives because the right moment is not something you wait for, it is something you create. Action, not waiting, is what sets things in motion. And action begins with the decision to move forward without waiting for anyone to say, "Now you're ready." The world is filled with examples of people who succeeded not because they were granted permission, but because they chose to act despite the lack of it. They didn't wait for someone to tell them they were good enough or that their ideas were worthy. They took bold steps, trusting in their vision and their ability to figure things out along the way. This is the mindset you must adopt if you wish to break free from the cycle of waiting. You must recognize that you are the authority in your own life, the one who determines your worth and your readiness. Granting yourself permission begins with a shift in perspective. It requires you to stop looking outside of yourself for validation and start looking within. Ask yourself, what do I want? What am I capable of? What is holding me back? Often you'll find that the only thing truly standing in your way is your own hesitation, fueled by a belief that you need something outside of yourself to move forward. But this belief is a lie. The moment you decide to act, you prove to yourself that you are capable, and with each step, your confidence grows. Fear will always be present when you step into the unknown, but fear is not a reason to hold back. It is a signal that you are moving beyond your comfort zone, into a space where growth and possibility reside. Waiting for permission will not eliminate this fear, it will only prolong it. The only way to overcome fear is to face it, to take action despite it, and to show yourself that you are stronger than the doubts that try to hold you back. One of the most liberating truths you can embrace is that you do not need to have everything figured out to begin. Perfection is not a prerequisite for action. Waiting until you feel completely ready is another form of seeking permission, a way of delaying the inevitable leap. The truth is, readiness comes through action. As you take steps, you learn, you adapt, and you grow. The path becomes clearer as you walk it, but you must first take that initial step without waiting for anyone to push you forward. You'll understand that not everyone will approve of your decisions or support your vision, and that's okay. You are not living your life to meet the expectations of others. Your dreams are yours for a reason, and they don't need to make sense to anyone but you. By waiting for others to validate your path, you give away your power. By granting yourself permission, you reclaim it. You take ownership of your life and your choices, knowing that your success is not dependent on the opinions or approval of others. To stop waiting for permission is to step into your power. It is to recognize that you are the creator of your reality, the one who decides what is possible for you. It is to trust in your ability to navigate challenges and to learn from setbacks. It is to believe in your vision, even when the world around you offers no guarantees. When you stop waiting and start acting, you shift from a state of passivity to one of creation. You move from being a spectator in your own life to being the driving force behind it. The authority you seek has always been yours. It does not come from a title, a degree, or someone else's approval. It comes from within, from the decision to own your potential and step boldly into the life you desire. Give yourself the permission you've been waiting for, and you'll discover that the only thing standing between you and your dreams was the belief that you needed someone else's approval. In truth, you never did. The power has always been yours. Take it and move forward without hesitation. Imagination is the gateway to transformation, the bridge between the seen and the unseen, the key that unlocks the infinite potential of your life. Your mind is not a passive observer of reality, but an active creator shaping the world around you through the images, feelings, and beliefs you hold within. Everything you experience begins first as a thought, a vision, or a feeling in the mind. This is the workshop of creation, where possibilities are born and where transformation begins. What you vividly imagine and embrace as real in your inner world inevitably manifests in your external reality. Imagination is not a frivolous daydream or a meaningless escape. It is the most powerful tool you possess for change and growth. Through imagination, you can step beyond the confines of your current circumstances and see a new reality, one that is not limited by past experiences or present conditions. When you engage your imagination with intention, you tap into a creative force that knows no boundaries. This force does not care about the how or the why of your desires. It simply responds to the images and emotions you impress upon it, bringing them into existence in ways you may not have anticipated. Many people underestimate the power of imagination because they associate it with fantasy, something separate from reality. Yet the truth is that imagination is the foundation of all reality. Every invention, every work of art, every great achievement began as a thought in someone's mind. Before it was tangible, it was imagined. The chair you sit on, the device you use to read these words, even the building you live in, all were once ideas, vividly imagined and brought into being through belief and action. Your own life is no different. What you vividly imagine and feel deeply, you create. The key to harnessing the transformative power of imagination lies in your ability to engage it with conviction. It is not enough to passively think about what you want, you must embody it. Feel it as though it is already real. When you imagine a desired outcome with clarity and emotion, your mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. The feelings you generate in your imagination set off a chain reaction in your subconscious mind, aligning your thoughts, actions, and external circumstances with the vision you hold. This is why it is so important to cultivate a clear and positive inner vision. Your imagination is always at work, whether you realize it or not, and it will create whatever you focus on most, whether that focus is on abundance or lack, joy or struggle. Imagination is also the tool that allows you to transcend the limitations of the present moment. No matter where you find yourself, no matter how challenging your circumstances may appear, you can use your imagination to see beyond them and create a new reality. You are not bound by the constraints of the material world. Your true power lies in your ability to envision something greater. When you consistently imagine yourself living the life you desire, you begin to shift your inner state, and that shift inevitably reflects in your outer world. The transformation starts within, but it does not stay there. It ripples outward, affecting every area of your life. The process of using imagination as a gateway to transformation requires trust and persistence. It is not always easy to hold on to a vision when the evidence around you seems to contradict it. Doubt may creep in, tempting you to abandon your imagination and accept the status quo. But this is the test of your belief. The moment when you must choose to trust in the unseen. Remember, the physical world is not fixed, it is fluid and responsive to the energy you bring to it. When you persist in imagining and feeling your desired reality as true, you give it the time and space to unfold. One of the most powerful aspects of imagination is its ability to change not only your external circumstances but also your inner self. As you imagine yourself as the person you wish to be, confident, successful, joyful, you begin to embody those qualities in the present moment. Your self-concept shifts, and with it, your actions and decisions align with the version of you that you are creating. This is the essence of transformation, not merely changing what you have, but changing who you are. When you become the person who naturally lives the life you desire, that life flows to you effortlessly. Imagination also opens the door to possibilities you may not have considered. It allows you to step beyond the logical mind, which is often limited by past experiences and societal conditioning, and tap into a realm of infinite creativity. Solutions to problems, ideas for growth, and paths to success often come to you when you allow your imagination to roam freely. This is why it is so important to nurture your imagination, to give yourself permission to dream boldly and without restriction. The more vividly and expansively you imagine, the more expansive your reality becomes. Your imagination is the most valuable tool you have for creating a life of fulfillment and purpose. It is the gateway to transformation, the means by which you turn desire into reality. Whatever you vividly imagine and feel as real is not merely a possibility, it is a certainty, waiting to be claimed. Embrace the power of your imagination, and you will discover that the life you dream of is not something to be pursued, it is something to be created, moment by moment, from within. In conclusion, the power to transform your life lies entirely within you. Your imagination is the gateway to creation. Your thoughts shape your reality, and your feelings bring those visions to life. When you let go of doubt, embrace faith, and recognize your role as the operant power, you unlock infinite potential. You do not need to wait for permission, fear external circumstances, or be bound by the limitations of the present. Instead, step boldly into the creative force within, trusting that what you vividly imagine and feel as real will manifest in your world. Your future is built in the present moment through your beliefs, your focus, and your willingness to act with conviction. Do not let fear, doubt, or the opinions of others hold you back. Own your power, grant yourself permission, and move forward with unwavering faith in your ability to create a life of purpose, abundance, and joy. Thank you for allowing these words to resonate within you. May they serve as a reminder of the immense power you hold and inspire you to step into the fullness of who you are.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a real conversation today about a phenomenon that leaves many puzzled. Why do men return after no contact? You see, when someone walks out of your life, it's easy to think it's the end of the story. But let me tell you something, sometimes the silence speaks louder than words ever could. When men retreat, it's easy to misinterpret their silence as rejection or indifference. But more often than not, their withdrawal has little to do with you and everything to do with what's happening within them. Men retreat because they need space to process their emotions, sort through their thoughts, and confront their feelings. This isn't a sign of weakness or avoidance, but a fundamental part of how many men navigate their inner world. Unlike women, who might seek connection and conversation during times of emotional turmoil, men are often conditioned to deal with their emotions internally. Society teaches them to carry the weight on their shoulders, to figure things out in silence, and to emerge with solutions rather than sharing the burden. When life feels overwhelming, be it stress from work, personal challenges, or the weight of a relationship, they may pull back, not because they don't care, but because they need solitude to reset and reflect. This retreat can feel confusing to the person on the other side. You might wonder what you did wrong or why he suddenly seems distant after everything felt so connected. But it's essential to understand that this pulling away is rarely about you. Instead, it's his way of untangling his emotions and finding clarity. He's not abandoning you, he's recalibrating. And it's in this space of recalibration that something powerful happens. He begins to see things differently. When a man is away from you, he starts to feel the absence of your presence. The moments you shared, the laughter, the support, and the connection, all these things begin to come into sharper focus. In the quiet, he can evaluate what truly matters to him. And often it's during this time that he realizes the value you bring into his life. Value isn't just about grand gestures or romantic moments. It's about the small, consistent ways you show up, the way you encourage him when he's down, the way you make him feel understood, the way you challenge him to be better without tearing him down. These qualities aren't always recognized in the moment. Sometimes it takes stepping away to fully grasp their significance. Absence has a way of amplifying appreciation. In the day-to-day hustle of life, it's easy to take someone for granted. The routines and familiarity can blur the unique qualities that make a person special. But when a man retreats, he has the opportunity to see you through a new lens. He starts to recognize what he's been missing, and with that recognition comes a growing desire to return. Men return because they see value in what they had and what they could have again. But here's the key, that value isn't something you have to prove or chase. It's already within you. You don't need to beg for his attention or try to pull him out of his retreat. Your worth speaks for itself, even when you're not in the room. The space he takes to process his emotions allows him to understand what truly matters. And when he comes back, it's often with a renewed sense of clarity and appreciation. He's not returning out of guilt or obligation, he's returning because he recognizes your irreplaceable value in his life. In these moments, the most important thing you can do is remain true to yourself. Don't lose your sense of self-worth waiting for someone to figure out what they want. Trust that the right people will see your value without you having to prove it. And when they do return, you'll know it's because they genuinely see and appreciate the unique light you bring to their world. Absence has a remarkable way of reshaping how we perceive and value the people in our lives. When someone is constantly present, their qualities, contributions, and energy can become part of the background noise of our everyday existence. We get used to their presence, and often it's not until they are no longer there that we begin to realize just how much they meant to us. This phenomenon is not about love or care diminishing over time. It's about how human nature can take the familiar for granted. When a person steps away or creates distance, it disrupts the rhythm we've come to rely on. Their absence is like a missing piece of a melody. We notice the silence where their notes once played. This creates a space, and in that space, respect and appreciation begin to grow. Without the distractions of constant interaction, there's an opportunity for reflection, and it's during this reflection that clarity emerges. In relationships, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, absence challenges us to confront what life feels like without the other person. It's in their absence that we start to recognize the subtle ways they contributed to our happiness, comfort, and growth. Maybe it's the way they always made us laugh, their unwavering support during tough times, or the simple but powerful reassurance of their presence. These things, so easy to overlook in the moment, come into sharper focus when they are no longer immediately available. This phenomenon isn't limited to relationships, it's a universal truth. Imagine visiting a place you love or enjoying a favorite meal every day. Over time, the excitement or appreciation may wane, not because the place or meal has lost its magic, but because its constant availability has dulled your awareness of its uniqueness. Now imagine stepping away from that experience for a while. When you return, it feels fresh, special, and meaningful again. Absence has allowed your appreciation to renew itself. When someone is absent, it also gives us the space to evaluate their role in our lives without the influence of ongoing interactions. We start to see them not just as they are in the moment, but as they are in the broader context of our lives. This perspective often leads to a deeper respect for who they are and what they bring to the table. This principle is particularly powerful in romantic relationships. When one person creates distance, whether by choice, circumstance, or necessity, it can shift the dynamic. The person left behind has a chance to reflect on the relationship without the noise of daily interactions. They may begin to see the qualities they took for granted, the sacrifices made, or the ways their partner enhanced their life. Respect grows in this space because it's rooted in a deeper understanding and recognition of value. Absence also offers an opportunity for growth. When someone steps away, it's not just about what the other person feels, it's also about the individual who creates the space. By stepping back, they may be prioritizing their own growth, well-being, or clarity. This act of self-respect can inspire respect from the other person, as it shows strength, independence, and a commitment to personal values. Of course, not every absence leads to amplified appreciation. If a relationship is built on shaky foundations, or if respect was never present to begin with, distance may simply reveal what was already lacking. But when the connection is genuine and meaningful, absence has a way of highlighting its importance. Absence is a powerful teacher. It teaches us not to take people for granted, to cherish the moments we have, and to value the unique qualities others bring into our lives. It creates a mirror for both individuals, reflecting what truly matters. And when absence amplifies respect and appreciation, it often leads to deeper, more meaningful connections when the time comes to reunite. When a man returns after a period of no contact, it's rarely a random act. His decision to re-enter someone's life is often driven by unresolved feelings and unfinished emotional ties that refuse to fade. Relationships, whether short-lived or long-term, leave impressions on the heart and mind that cannot be easily erased. These impressions, built from shared experiences, emotions, and moments of vulnerability, create bonds that linger even when words are left unspoken and paths seem to have diverged. For many men, unresolved feelings are not something they confront immediately. Men are often conditioned to suppress emotions, to avoid showing vulnerability, and to focus on moving forward. But emotions have a way of resurfacing, no matter how deeply they're buried. When a man pulls away or breaks contact, it doesn't mean he has fully processed the relationship or the feelings that came with it. Instead, it often means he needs time to step back, reflect, and understand what those feelings mean. During this period of reflection, memories and emotions tend to bubble back to the surface. The mind has a way of revisiting moments that mattered, whether it's a meaningful conversation, a look that spoke louder than words, or the feeling of being understood in a way no one else could replicate. These memories create a powerful pull, and the more unresolved they feel, the harder they are to ignore. Unfinished emotional ties can stem from a variety of things. Sometimes it's the lack of closure, a conversation that was never had, an apology that was never given, or an explanation that was never shared. Humans crave resolution, and when a relationship ends without it, it leaves an emotional door slightly ajar. This open door becomes a reminder of what was left incomplete, and for a man, it often becomes an invitation to revisit the connection, even if it's just to find clarity. But it's not just about closure, it's about the emotional investment made during the relationship. When a man shares parts of himself with someone, his dreams, fears, joys, and vulnerabilities, it creates a connection that isn't easily severed. These ties act like threads woven deeply into his emotional fabric. Walking away doesn't mean those threads unravel, they remain intact, tugging at him when he least expects it. Time and distance have a unique way of intensifying these feelings. When a man is no longer in the relationship, he has the space to evaluate it from a distance. In that space, he often starts to see the bigger picture. He remembers the moments that mattered, the qualities that drew him in, and the ways the relationship made him feel alive, understood, or supported. Even if the relationship had its challenges, the positive aspects tend to stand out more starkly in hindsight. It's important to understand that when a man returns, it's rarely because he simply misses someone. Missing is superficial compared to the depth of unresolved feelings. His return is often a way of seeking answers not just about the relationship, but about himself. He's trying to understand why he feels the way he does, why certain memories won't let him go, and why the connection feels unfinished. In some cases, his return is also an attempt to rekindle what was lost. The emotional ties that bind him to the past make him wonder if there's still something worth salvaging. Perhaps he's realized the depth of the bond he shared, or maybe he's come to terms with his own shortcomings and wants to make things right. Whatever the reason, his return is rarely without emotional weight. For the person on the receiving end, understanding this dynamic is crucial. A man's return is not necessarily an indication of permanent change or a guarantee of a successful reunion. It's a reflection of unresolved emotions that he needs to confront. How that unfolds depends on both individuals and their willingness to address what was left unfinished. A man's return is a testament to the power of emotional connections. No matter how much time has passed or how much distance has grown, feelings that are unresolved and ties that are unfinished will always have a way of pulling him back. It's a reminder that emotions are not easily silenced, and the heart often seeks resolution in its own time. The power of self-worth is one of the most magnetic forces in human connection. When you focus on yourself, investing in your growth, happiness, and purpose, it creates a quiet confidence that radiates outward. This energy doesn't demand attention, it simply draws people in like a light shining in the dark. Those who once overlooked you, doubted your value, or took you for granted will inevitably feel the shift. They may not even understand why, but they'll sense the change and they'll feel the pull. Self-worth begins with how you see yourself. It's not about external validation or the approval of others, it's about the relationship you cultivate with your own heart and mind. When you prioritize yourself, your goals, your peace, and your well-being, you signal to the world that you value who you are. And when you value yourself, others naturally start to see that value too. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean shutting others out or being selfish. It means recognizing that you are the foundation of your own life. If that foundation is shaky, built on insecurity, doubt, or the need for external approval, everything else will crumble. But when you strengthen that foundation with self-respect, self-love, and a clear sense of purpose, it becomes unshakable. And an unshakable person is impossible to ignore. There's a reason why people are drawn to confidence. Confidence is not arrogance, it's the quiet assurance that comes from knowing who you are and what you bring to the table. It's not needing to prove anything to anyone because you've already proven it to yourself. When you carry that kind of energy, it becomes magnetic. People want to be around those who exude positivity, strength, and independence. When you focus on yourself, something incredible happens. You stop chasing. You stop chasing approval, attention, and relationships that drain you. Instead, you channel that energy into becoming the best version of yourself. You set goals and work towards them, not to impress others, but to fulfill your own potential. You cultivate your passions, take care of your body and mind, and find joy in your own company. This shift in focus from outward to inward transforms your entire aura. People notice when you stop seeking validation from them. They notice when you no longer hinge your happiness on their presence or approval. This change can be unsettling to those who once held power over your emotions. When you pull back your energy and direct it inward, you create a vacuum, a space where they used to take you for granted. And in that space, they begin to feel your absence. This doesn't mean focusing on yourself as a strategy to get others to return or pay attention to you. True self-worth is not about manipulation, it's about transformation. It's about becoming so aligned with your own values and desires that you no longer need anyone else to complete you. The irony is that when you reach this place of independence, others will naturally gravitate toward you. The pull they feel isn't about your appearance or status, it's about your energy. It's the quiet power of someone who knows their worth and isn't afraid to stand alone. It's the attractiveness of a person who has boundaries, standards, and the courage to walk away from anything that doesn't serve them. That kind of strength is rare, and people are drawn to it like moths to a flame. Self-worth isn't just magnetic, it's transformative. It changes how you see the world and how the world sees you. When you focus on yourself, you don't just pull people toward you, you pull opportunities, success, and happiness into your orbit. The power of self-worth is limitless, and it all starts with you. When a man returns after a period of no contact, it is often because he feels safe to express vulnerability without fear of judgment. For many men, vulnerability is a deeply guarded part of their being. It represents their inner fears, emotions, and doubts, parts of themselves they've been conditioned to suppress or hide. Society often teaches men to equate vulnerability with weakness, leading them to build walls around their emotions. But these walls are not impenetrable. They exist to protect, not to isolate. When a man finds someone with whom he can lower his guard, it creates a powerful pull that draws him back. When a man pulls away, it's not always because he lacks interest or has stopped caring. Sometimes it's because he's grappling with emotions he doesn't know how to handle. He might feel overwhelmed by expectations, unsure of how to communicate his feelings, or afraid that revealing his vulnerabilities will make him appear inadequate. In these moments, distance becomes a coping mechanism, a way to retreat and protect himself while he processes his emotions. But over time, he begins to recognize what was lost. He remembers the way he felt when he was with someone who truly saw him, someone who accepted him not for his achievements or his facade, but for the person he is underneath. That memory of emotional safety becomes a beacon, guiding him back when he's ready to face his fears and open up. Creating a space where a man feels safe to express vulnerability requires patience, empathy, and a deep understanding of human nature. It's about listening without interrupting, offering support without pressuring, and showing compassion without judgment. It's about being present and allowing him to share his emotions on his terms, without trying to fix him or force him to fit into a predefined mold. When a man senses this kind of acceptance, it gives him the courage to explore his emotions more openly. Vulnerability is not an easy state for anyone to enter, but for men who have spent a lifetime guarding their feelings, it's an especially significant step. To express vulnerability is to risk exposure, and to risk exposure is to trust that the person on the other side will handle it with care. This trust isn't built overnight. It's nurtured through consistency, authenticity, and mutual respect. A man needs to know that his moments of weakness will not be used against him, that his fears will not be dismissed, and that his emotions will be met with understanding rather than disdain. When this level of trust is established, it creates a bond that is both profound and enduring. When a man returns under these circumstances, it's not just because he misses you, it's because he recognizes the rarity of what he had. He's drawn back by the memory of feeling safe, valued, and unjudged. He knows that in a world where vulnerability is often met with resistance, he has found a place where it's embraced. This recognition doesn't erase past challenges or guarantee future harmony, but it's a powerful foundation on which to rebuild trust and connection. A man's return is not just a reflection of his feelings, but a testament to the power of emotional safety. It reminds us that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a bridge to deeper understanding and love. When a man feels safe to express his true self, it creates a connection that can withstand the trials of time and distance a connection that he will always be drawn back to, no matter how far he strays. Timing is an undeniable force in life, shaping our experiences and decisions in ways we often don't fully understand until later. When it comes to relationships, timing plays an even more critical role. Sometimes it's only through the experience of losing someone that a person realizes their true worth. This moment of clarity, however painful, has the power to transform not only how we view others, but also how we view ourselves. When we're in the thick of a relationship or connection, it's easy to take things for granted. The comfort, the presence, the shared moments, they can blend into the background of our lives, overshadowed by daily distractions or personal insecurities. But when that person is no longer there, a void is created. It's in that emptiness, that absence, that the truth becomes glaringly obvious. The little things, their laugh, their kindness, their understanding, suddenly become monumental. The things we may have dismissed or undervalued take on a new, profound significance. Losing someone can act as a wake-up call, shaking us out of complacency. It forces us to confront the parts of ourselves that may have contributed to the loss, the inability to communicate, the fear of vulnerability, or the failure to appreciate what we had while we had it. This realization isn't immediate, it often unfolds slowly, like a wound healing from the inside out. At first there's denial or even blame, but eventually there's reflection. And in that reflection lies the recognition of what was lost and why it mattered so much. For some, this realization is tied to growth. Losing someone can highlight the gaps in their emotional maturity, their ability to connect, or their willingness to prioritize another person. It's a painful lesson, but it's also an opportunity to change. Growth rarely happens in comfort. It's the discomfort, the longing, the regret that drives us to look inward and ask ourselves the hard questions. What could I have done differently? What did this person bring into my life that no one else could? How can I honor their worth even in their absence? For the person who left or was left behind, this can be a deeply empowering moment. Losing someone may feel like rejection or failure at first, but over time it becomes a reminder of their own worth. Their absence becomes their power. It's a statement that says, I will not stay where I'm not valued, and this act of walking away, of choosing themselves, often ignites a shift in the one who remains. It's only then, in the stillness of solitude, that the full weight of their loss is felt. Timing is everything, because sometimes people aren't ready to see what's right in front of them. They may be distracted by their own fears, insecurities, or ambitions. They may not have the emotional capacity to appreciate the love and value being offered to them. But time has a way of revealing what we were blind to before. As the days, weeks, or months pass, clarity emerges. The space left by that person grows louder, more undeniable, until it becomes impossible to ignore. This recognition of worth doesn't always lead to reconciliation. Sometimes the person who left has moved on, grown, and decided that returning isn't in their best interest. And that's okay. The lesson remains. The person who took them for granted learns the importance of appreciation, respect, and timing. They carry that wisdom into future relationships, knowing now what they failed to grasp before. But sometimes, timing does come full circle. The loss serves as a reset, a moment to reevaluate priorities and behaviors. It creates a foundation for new growth. And if both people are willing and able to align, a second chance can emerge, one built on mutual understanding and a deeper appreciation of what they almost lost forever. Losing someone to realize their worth is one of life's harshest yet most transformative lessons. It reminds us of the fragility of human connection and the importance of being present and intentional in our relationships. It shows us that worth isn't always seen in the moment, but is often illuminated by its absence. And it teaches us that timing isn't just about opportunity, it's about readiness, awareness, and the courage to act before it's too late. The loss may hurt, but the growth that follows can be profound. It's a chance to not only recognize the value of another, but also to recognize the value of love, respect, and gratitude in every relationship moving forward. Timing is everything because in the end, it reveals what truly matters. And sometimes losing someone is the only way to truly see them. Relationships and connections are often shaped by forces beyond our immediate understanding: timing, self-awareness, and the depth of emotional bonds. A man's return after a period of absence is rarely random. It is driven by realizations about value, safety, and vulnerability, often brought to light through distance. Whether it's recognizing your worth, reflecting on unresolved feelings, or understanding the rarity of emotional safety, these moments of clarity are powerful reminders of what truly matters in human connection. Remember, the key is always to focus on yourself, your growth, and your self-worth. By doing so, you create a magnetic pull that naturally draws the right energy toward you. And if someone returns, let it be on the foundation of mutual respect, understanding, and a willingness to grow together. Thank you for allowing me to share these thoughts with you. Stay focused, stay strong, and always know your worth. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about love that nobody wants to hear, but everybody needs to understand. Love is not always loud. It doesn't always show up with flowers, text messages, or grand gestures. Sometimes love walks into the room and quietly takes a seat at the back. Sometimes love withdraws, it retreats. And you sit there wondering, why isn't he calling? Why isn't he texting? Let me explain. When a man loves you, truly loves you, he's not just thinking about today. He's thinking about tomorrow. And the day after that, he's wondering, do I have what it takes to keep her safe? To keep her happy? To be the man she needs me to be? That kind of pressure, that weight, it's heavy. So what does he do? He steps back, not because he doesn't care, but because he cares too much. He's fighting battles you don't see, working on a version of himself you haven't met yet. His silence isn't an insult, it's a promise. But here's where it gets real. Love isn't about constant attention. It's not about text messages or reassurance. Love grows in the spaces between. If he ignores you, he's giving you room to see if you can meet him there in the silence, in the uncertainty, in the waiting. You see, love isn't about convenience, it's about commitment. If a man pulls away, it doesn't always mean he's leaving. Sometimes it means he's preparing, he's becoming. Because real love is not about what he can take, it's about what he can give. So if he loves you, he might ignore you. Not because you're not worthy of his attention, but because he's trying to become worthy of yours. The question isn't whether he loves you. The question is, can you trust the silence? Can you trust the process? Because love isn't about being seen every second. It's about being felt, even when he's not there. It's about knowing that his silence is temporary, but his love, if it's real, will last forever. Love is often romanticized as an endless cascade of grand gestures, whispered words of affection, and moments of undeniable connection. Yet the truth is far more nuanced. Love, in its purest form, doesn't always speak through the obvious. It doesn't always show up in the way we expect. Sometimes love chooses silence. Not the silence of neglect or indifference, but the kind of silence that carries weight and meaning, a silence that shouts louder than any word ever could. When a man loves deeply, he doesn't always feel the need to fill the space with constant affirmations or actions. Instead, his silence can be purposeful. It is in those moments of quiet that he reflects, gathers strength, and seeks clarity about how to show up for the woman he loves. For some, silence isn't an absence of love, it's an expression of it. It's his way of ensuring that his next step isn't a misstep, that his intentions align with his actions, and that he doesn't falter in the role he feels compelled to fulfill. Love is transformative. It challenges a man to become the best version of himself, not just for his own sake, but for the sake of the person he holds dear. That transformation doesn't happen in noise or chaos, it happens in stillness. In silence, he can confront his fears, insecurities, and doubts without the added pressure of maintaining a facade. Silence becomes the canvas on which he paints a clearer picture of what it means to love deeply, responsibly, and intentionally. To love someone is to carry a profound sense of responsibility. It's not simply about being present. In the easy moments, it's about showing up when it matters most, even if that means taking a step back to recalibrate. For a man who loves deeply, silence is often his way of ensuring that he's capable of meeting the demands of love. He's not ignoring you to hurt you or to push you away. Instead, he's retreating to protect the bond, to strengthen it from within. His silence is an act of preparation, a pause that allows him to step forward with clarity and purpose. It's important to understand that love can be overwhelming. When a man realizes the depth of his feelings, it can shake the very foundation of who he is. Love has a way of uncovering vulnerabilities, exposing the raw parts of his soul that he may have spent years shielding from the world. In silence, he wrestles with these emotions, seeking to understand them, to master them, so they don't master him. His quiet moments are not an escape from love, but a testament to its power, a power so profound that it demands careful attention and respect. Silence for a man in love can also be a sign of trust. It's his way of believing in the strength of the relationship. He doesn't feel the need to constantly fill the air with words or actions because he trusts that the bond is strong enough to withstand the quiet. It's in those moments of stillness that the foundation of the relationship is tested and, if nurtured, grows even stronger. True love doesn't need constant validation. It thrives in understanding, patience, and mutual respect. For the woman on the other side of this silence, it can feel confusing, even painful. It's natural to question, to wonder if the silence is a sign of indifference or fading affection. But love isn't always easy to decipher. Sometimes it requires faith in the unseen, belief in the intangible. His silence may not provide the reassurance you crave, but it carries a promise, an unspoken vow that he's working to become the man you need him to be. In a world that glorifies instant gratification and constant communication, it's easy to misinterpret silence as a lack of interest or care. But true love doesn't conform to societal expectations. It doesn't always arrive with fanfare or flourish. Sometimes it comes quietly, in the spaces between words, in the pauses that allow for growth and reflection. When rooted in love is not an end, it's a bridge. It connects the man he is now to the man he's striving to become. It connects your present to your shared future. It's not a void, it's a vessel, carrying the weight of his intentions, his dreams, and his love for you. To love deeply is to trust that silence, to understand that it holds more than what words could ever express. When a man loves deeply, his instinct is often to protect, to shield the one he loves from the burdens he carries. This protection doesn't always manifest in ways that are easy to understand. At times it looks like distance. It feels like withdrawal. It can even appear as if he's shutting you out. But more often than not, this retreat isn't born of neglect or disinterest, it's rooted in love. A love so deep that he's willing to bear the weight of his struggles alone so that you don't have to. Men, by nature or by conditioning, are often taught to equate love with strength. They internalize the idea that being a provider, a protector, and a source of stability is what defines their role in a relationship. So when they find themselves facing vulnerabilities, be it fear, doubt, stress, or insecurity, it can feel like a betrayal of that role. To reveal those vulnerabilities may feel, to them, like revealing weakness. And weakness, in their mind, is the very thing they've promised to protect you from. This is why many men retreat. It's not because they don't care, and it's certainly not because they've stopped loving you. On the contrary, they withdraw because they love you too much to let you see them in a state of fragility. They're afraid that their struggles might burden you, that their pain might overshadow the joy they want to bring into your life. In their minds, retreating is an act of love. It's a way of keeping you safe from the storms they're battling within. A man in love often carries an invisible weight. He may not talk about it, but it's there, looming, pressing, unrelenting. It could be the pressure to succeed, the fear of failure, or the desire to meet the expectations he believes you have of him. These internal battles are deeply personal, and for many men, sharing them feels unnatural or even impossible. It's not that they don't trust you, it's that they've been taught to handle these things alone. To them, love means being the rock, the unshakable foundation that you can lean on. And when they feel their foundation cracking, their instinct is to step away and fix it quietly, alone before they let you lean on it again. The retreat is often temporary, though it may not feel that way in the moment. When a man pulls back, it's his way of regrouping, of finding the strength he needs to continue being the partner he wants to be. It's a pause, not an end. But for the woman on the receiving end of this distance, it can be confusing and even painful. It's natural to wonder why he's pulling away, to question whether you've done something wrong, or to fear that his love is fading. These feelings are valid, but they often miss the deeper truth. His withdrawal is not a rejection of you, it's an act of protection, a way of preserving the relationship by ensuring that his personal struggles don't spill over into it. This instinct to shield you from his vulnerabilities is, in many ways, a testament to how deeply he values you. He wants you to see his strength, his confidence, his ability to take care of you, and the life you're building together. When he's unable to feel those things within himself, his first thought is to protect you from that uncertainty. It's not that he doesn't want your support, he just doesn't want you to carry the weight that he believes is his alone to bear. This retreat can also be a learning moment for both partners. It's an opportunity to build trust, to show him that love doesn't require perfection, and to remind him that you're not just there for the good times, but for all times. While his instinct may be to protect you from his vulnerabilities, your love can gently show him that those vulnerabilities don't make him less worthy of your affection or respect. On the contrary, they make him human, and in their humanity, they can bring you closer. For a man, retreating isn't about abandoning love. It's about preserving it. It's his way of ensuring that his struggles don't diminish the life you share. It's his way of saying, I love you too much to let my storms become yours. And while it may be difficult to see in the moment, his retreat is often a powerful expression of his love. It's a reflection of his commitment to your happiness and his willingness to fight his battles so that you never have to. In time, as he works through his challenges, he will return not as a man who has abandoned you, but as one who has fought for you in his own way. Love is more than a feeling, it is a responsibility, one that many men take deeply to heart. It's not just about being present during the moments of joy and celebration, but about being a steadfast pillar during challenges and uncertainties. For some men, the weight of that responsibility can be overwhelming. They find themselves questioning whether they are truly enough, whether they can meet the expectations they perceive from their partner, and whether they are capable of giving the love and support that a relationship demands. In those moments of self-doubt, they may pull back not because their love has lessened, but because they feel an urgent need to grow into the man they believe you deserve. This retreat is not a lack of commitment, it is, in fact, evidence of just how seriously they take their role in your life. To them, love isn't just an emotional connection, it is a duty to protect, provide, and nurture. When they feel they are falling short in any of these areas, it can trigger a deep sense of inadequacy. They might begin to internalize the belief that they are unworthy of your love or incapable of sustaining the relationship in the way they aspire to. In their minds, pulling back becomes a way to regroup, to work on themselves, and to become stronger, not for their own sake, but for the sake of the love they hold for you. Men often measure their worth in tangible terms. They ask themselves questions like, can I provide security? Can I offer stability? Can I ensure happiness for the person I love? When the answers to those questions feel uncertain, it can cause a man to spiral inward. Instead of leaning on their partner during these moments, they might instinctively retreat, driven by the desire to fix these perceived shortcomings alone. They don't want to be a source of worry or a burden, so they take the weight of their struggles upon themselves, believing that this is what strength looks like. This withdrawal can be confusing for their partner, who may interpret the distance as a lack of interest or love. It's natural to question what went wrong, to wonder why someone who once seemed so connected is now pulling away. But more often than not, the root cause isn't apathy, it's fear. The fear of not being enough, the fear of disappointing you, the fear that their love, as it stands, isn't sufficient. This fear, ironically, is born out of how much they care. It reflects the depth of their feelings and their desire to rise to the occasion for you. In the silence of their retreat, many men wrestle with internal battles that they may never voice aloud. They challenge their own insecurities, confront their weaknesses, and push themselves to grow. They may not express this process in words, but it's a quiet, determined effort to become a better version of themselves. They are striving to be the man who not only meets your expectations, but exceeds them. The man who can stand beside you with confidence, knowing he's giving his all. For their partner, it can be a test of patience and trust. It's difficult to watch someone you love withdraw, especially when you're willing to share their burdens and support them through their struggles. But part of loving someone deeply is understanding the ways in which they process and grow. It's recognizing that their retreat isn't about creating distance between you, it's about building a bridge to a stronger future together. Their time apart is not spent in neglect, but in preparation, ensuring that when they return, they do so with greater clarity, strength, and purpose. At its core, this retreat is an act of love, even if it doesn't feel that way in the moment. It's a man's way of saying, I want to be the best I can for you. It's his recognition of the immense value you bring into his life and his determination to be worthy of that gift. The weight of responsibility he feels isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of his commitment. It shows that he sees the relationship as something worth fighting for, worth improving himself for, and worth carrying through even the heaviest of days. In time, as he works through his doubts and fears, he will emerge stronger and more secure. He will return not as someone who walked away from love, but as someone who paused to ensure he could meet it with the full measure of his heart. And when he does, the bond you share will be all the more resilient for the effort he poured into himself and ultimately into you. True love has a way of shaking even the most composed individuals. It touches parts of the heart and mind that may have remained dormant for years, and with that awakening comes a vulnerability that can feel both exhilarating and terrifying. For some men, love isn't just an emotion, it's an overwhelming force that threatens to strip away the control they've carefully built over their inner world. In their attempts to navigate these intense feelings, they might seem distant or even ignore the person they care for most. But this behavior isn't rooted in rejection, it's their way of regaining emotional balance, of finding a way to master feelings that suddenly feel too powerful to contain. When a man loves deeply, he may find himself standing on unfamiliar terrain. Love brings with it a vulnerability that can feel like losing one's footing, and for someone accustomed to being in control, this can be deeply unsettling. Control provides a sense of safety and predictability, a way to navigate life without being thrown off course. But love has no roadmap, no set rules, it's unpredictable, raw, and all-consuming. For some, this lack of control is exhilarating, but for others, it's terrifying. The idea of being so deeply connected to someone, of placing their heart in another's hands, can feel like surrendering a piece of themselves. In response to this overwhelming sensation, some men withdraw not because they care less, but because they care so much that they feel the need to process their emotions privately. Ignoring the one they love may be an unconscious defense mechanism, a way to create space where they can sort through the tidal wave of feelings without losing themselves in the process. It's not about pushing their partner away, it's about finding a way to steady themselves in the face of emotions that feel too vast to handle all at once. This withdrawal can be deeply confusing for their partner. After all, love is often expressed through closeness, through acts of affection and reassurance. When those acts suddenly seem to disappear, it's easy to interpret the distance as rejection. But the truth is often the opposite. The space they create is not about pulling away permanently, it's about recalibrating, about finding a way to remain present without being consumed by the intensity of their emotions. It's a pause, a moment to catch their breath in a relationship that means so much to them that it threatens to upend their sense of self. The fear of losing control in love isn't about the other person, it's about the self. It's about grappling with the realization that love requires a level of openness and surrender that can feel frightening. For some, the idea of being too attached, too vulnerable, or too dependent on another person feels like stepping into uncharted waters. They may worry that losing control of their emotions could lead to losing control of their lives, their decisions, or their sense of independence. And so, they pull back not to disconnect, but to find a way to engage with their emotions without feeling overwhelmed by them. This need to master their feelings is often a reflection of how deeply they value the relationship. They want to show up fully, to be present in a way that feels authentic and balanced. But to do that, they must first come to terms with the intensity of their own emotions. Ignoring the one they love can sometimes be their way of saying, "I need a moment to process this." It's a way to ensure that when they do return, they can offer their best self, not a version of themselves that's struggling to stay afloat. For their partner, this behavior can be challenging to navigate. It requires patience, trust, and an understanding that love isn't always linear. It ebbs and flows, sometimes surging with intensity, and other times retreating into moments of quiet reflection. While it may be difficult to feel ignored or distanced, it's important to recognize that these moments of withdrawal are often a testament to the depth of their feelings. They step back not because they don't care, but because they care so much that they need to find a way to handle their emotions in a healthy, sustainable way. Over time, as they grow more comfortable with the vulnerability that love demands, the need to retreat often diminishes. They learn that losing control isn't necessarily a bad thing, that it can lead to deeper connection, greater intimacy, and a more profound understanding of themselves and their partner. They realize that love isn't about mastering emotions, but about flowing with them, about embracing the uncertainty and the chaos that come with opening one's heart fully. Silence in this context is not the absence of love, but a space created to explore its depth. A man who deeply cares might withdraw temporarily to see how the relationship exists in the absence of constant interaction. This space is not a void, but an opportunity, an invitation for the connection to prove its durability and authenticity. Genuine bonds are not dependent on continual validation. They are rooted in mutual understanding, trust, and the quiet confidence that love doesn't waver when words or actions are momentarily absent. For some men, this silence is a way to protect what they hold dear. They want to ensure that the relationship is not just a fleeting connection, but something more profound, something capable of enduring life's challenges. It's easy to feel connected when everything is perfect, when communication flows freely and affection is abundant. But life is rarely perfect. There will be moments of distance, misunderstandings, and external pressures. A man who loves deeply understands this reality and seeks to know if the bond you share can weather those storms. This withdrawal is not about testing your loyalty or creating unnecessary tension. It's about finding assurance in the quiet moments. It's about seeing if the connection remains steady, even when there's no constant reassurance. For him, silence can be a sacred space, a pause, where he reflects on the relationship, its meaning, and its future. He wants to know if love can survive in its purest form, unadorned by the distractions of daily interaction. Can it thrive in stillness? Can it endure in the face of temporary distance? For his partner, this can be a challenging experience. Silence is often misinterpreted as neglect or disinterest. It can feel unsettling to be left without the usual expressions of love, leading to doubts and insecurities. But it's essential to understand the intention behind this silence. It's not meant to create distance, but to reveal the strength of what already exists. It's a way of asking, without words, can we stand strong even in the quiet? True love does not require constant validation. It does not demand endless attention or reassurance. Instead, it finds its roots in mutual respect, understanding, and trust. A connection that can endure silence is one that can weather anything. It's a bond that transcends the need for constant affirmation, one that thrives on the quiet knowledge that love is present, even when it's not being actively expressed. When a man creates this space, he's also testing his own ability to trust and let go. For many, love comes with its own set of vulnerabilities: the fear of being hurt, of not being enough, or of losing what matters most. By stepping back, he's not only observing the relationship but also challenging himself to release these fears. He's learning to trust that love doesn't need to be micromanaged, that it can flourish in the moments when he's not actively tending to it. For both partners, this process can lead to growth. It encourages introspection, patience, and a deeper appreciation for the connection. It's a reminder that love is not about constant proximity, but about the quality of the bond. When the silence ends, and it always does, the relationship emerges stronger, fortified by the understanding that it can endure not just through words and actions, but also through quiet reflection. Silence becomes a testament to love's resilience. It's not about ignoring or neglecting, it's about trusting in the strength of what you share. Genuine love doesn't crumble in the absence of attention, it stands firm, rooted in the shared understanding that true connection goes beyond the surface. It exists in the spaces between words, in the moments of stillness, and in the quiet confidence that what you have is real, enduring, and unshakable. Sometimes, love requires space for growth. A man who truly cares may step away not because he doesn't value you, but because he recognizes the importance of evolving as an individual before fully stepping into a relationship. This temporary distance is not a reflection of his feelings toward you, nor is it a sign of neglect. Rather, it is an intentional decision to build a life that can support and sustain the love you share. It is an investment in the future of the relationship, a way of ensuring that when he returns, he is ready to give you all of himself, in a way that will truly honor both your connection and his own personal development. Men feel a deep sense of responsibility toward their partners. They want to provide not only emotionally but also practically, offering a secure foundation for the relationship to flourish. But this requires growth: personal, professional, and emotional growth. It's not enough to simply exist in a relationship. To truly show up and build something lasting, a person must first ensure they are in the best possible position to do so. Sometimes this means taking a step back to focus on self-improvement, to lay the groundwork for the life they want to share with you. The desire to grow is not born from dissatisfaction, but from a place of love and commitment. A man who loves you wants to ensure that he can give you everything you deserve. This might mean taking time to further his career, improve his financial stability, or work on personal issues that may be preventing him from fully engaging in the relationship. This period of growth is about him preparing himself, becoming the partner he believes you deserve, and making sure that the foundation of your future together is solid. While this growth can involve physical or emotional distance, it should not be mistaken for withdrawal or a lack of interest. It's about making choices that might seem painful in the short term, but are aimed at long-term success. Just as a plant needs time to grow and develop roots before it can bloom, so too does love require a space to mature. In this silence, he is not ignoring you, he is investing in himself so that he can return stronger, more capable, and more equipped to nurture the relationship. For the person on the receiving end, it can be difficult to understand this need for distance. In a world that often values constant communication and shared experiences, the absence of attention can feel like a sign of abandonment or lack of affection. But love, in its most mature form, understands that space and independence are necessary for a relationship to thrive. True love is not about clinging to one another, but about giving each other the freedom to grow and evolve, knowing that the bond between you will endure through those changes. In his absence, there is an opportunity for both partners to reflect and grow individually. While he is working on himself, it's important to use this time as a chance for your own personal development as well. Growth in a relationship is not solely the responsibility of one person. Both partners should strive to become the best versions of themselves, understanding that a strong relationship is made up of two people who are grounded in their own identities, passions, and aspirations. The distance isn't a void, it's a space for individual growth that ultimately strengthens the connection. This period of absence, while difficult, can deepen the trust and understanding between two people. It teaches patience and allows both partners to see that love is not about constant proximity, but about the ability to remain connected despite physical or emotional distance. The love that endures through growth is often the most resilient. When both individuals return to the relationship with a greater sense of self, they are better equipped to support one another and build a future together that is grounded in mutual respect and understanding. A man who steps away to grow is not abandoning you, but rather giving the relationship a chance to thrive in the long run. He understands that the best love is not about rushing forward, but about laying the groundwork for a future that is secure, stable, and lasting. His absence is not a rejection, it is a commitment to ensuring that when he returns, he is the partner you deserve, ready to build a life with you that is both fulfilling and sustainable. In this way, distance becomes an essential part of the process of love, one that ultimately brings both people closer together, stronger and more united in their shared vision for the future. In conclusion, the silence, withdrawal, or absence of a man who loves you is not a sign of neglect or a lack of affection. Rather, it is often an intentional act aimed at personal growth, emotional mastery, or the development of a life that can truly sustain and support the relationship. It's in these moments of distance that love is tested and strengthened, revealing its depth and resilience. True love is not about constant closeness, but about the mutual trust and understanding that a relationship can endure, even in the quiet moments. A man who steps back does so with the intention of returning stronger, more capable of building a future together. And it is in these moments of growth, both individually and as a couple, that love matures into something more meaningful, lasting, and fulfilling. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope these words have brought clarity and understanding to the complexities of love and relationships.